guess you could say it started in graduate school. When I was working on my master's, I was also teaching music history to 120 students at a time or whatever, however many were in the class, and teaching voice and body language to singers. And that continued through my time on the faculty at Duke University. It continued through my time, maybe with a little bit of a respite when I was just singing opera. But it continued through my time also here in Germany. I'm now on the faculty at the university here in Erlangen, or have been for 20 years now, longer than 20 years. We don't talk about that. But yeah, so speaking in general to people about the voice, about the body language, about how to have presence and own the room is something I've just been doing forever. What I would consider the beginning of my speaking career, as we talk about it here in the speaker world, was a little bit later. That was in the mid 2000s. And I was asked to give a talk, but not about voice and body language, but about leadership, and to incorporate music to these leadership topics. I think that talk was what are the 7 attributes of a great leader? And there was just this plethora of information and repertoire that you can take from musical theater and apply it to leadership. And not just musically, so a song about to dream the impossible dream, about being a visionary, but also examples from the music world that really can help leaders today. So I was then asked to give talks like that in different companies, and I began my own series of lectures, or not lectures, of talks, I guess I would say, bringing together these leadership topics with music. So topics like trust or motivation. And that's how it took off. It was very organic. It was actually quite beautiful. A lot of people, of course, there are the people that initially asked me to do that talk at this leadership conference. And once I really was much more involved in the speaker world than a lot of colleagues. I think one of the most important aspects of being a speaker and being active is having connections also with other speakers. The speaker world is very unique. If I give a seminar and the client likes it, then they ask me back for a seminar next year, or for next month, or whatever. You get all these repeat contracts. In the speaking world, they want somebody else, somebody new and exciting next year. And then you may come back in 3 or 4 years. And so there's a strong element of both recommending colleagues as well as just networking to find out how to do this. It's great fun. So, I mean, how to do it as well as you can. And so around 2011, I learned about an organization called the German Speakers Association. And ever since then, I've been involved with the German Speakers Association. And also, I've had the opportunity to go to a bunch of international conferences like this one, but not online. Yeah, and I cannot begin to express how important it is to have a network that supports you, both a network of speakers as well as a network, of course, of customers, with whom we can't do any of this, a network of fans who encourage you to keep going. And of course, I can't leave out the family on that one because they've had to put up with a lot. They've seen probably more talks than they would like to talk about. Yeah. I still sing concerts. I don't do opera at this point in my life, but I am still active musically. All of the concerts planned for 2020, with the exception of one, we got one in at the end of January. But all of the concerts have been canceled, and we're still waiting to set up replacement dates. One concert of Dvorak's Stabat Mater in Ravensburg, wonderful, huge piece. I can't wait to do it. We've postponed the date 3 times, and at this point, who knows when we'll do it. So that's one aspect of my life that changed. The speaking is very similar. I mean, being a speaker and a singer, they're very similar. The speaking aspect, as we all have noticed, events haven't happened, at least live events haven't happened. So a lot of the contracts that I had for 2020 or for even 2021 now, either for speaking gigs or for seminars, have fallen by the wayside. We all hope that they'll happen again, but that's still the future. What really has changed, and I have to say I really like this aspect of it, is working online. Um, Most of the seminars and coachings I can still do online. And once my customers began to feel um, comfortable with this medium, then that began to open up again. And for me, it's been an amazing opportunity to finally do something I had in my bucket list. I had on my bucket list for some time, and that's basically to get my online seminars going. I've already had several online seminars that were available, but there've been a lot that I wanted to create, and so it's been a very creative year. It's been fun. A continuation of this creation online of seminars, continuing obviously coaching online, but that's relatively easy. I'm in the process of creating my podcasts, which I am greatly enjoying. The both putting together the topics of everything I've learned in these years together for that medium, a medium that really focuses on the voice. That's quite exciting, and really a lot of connection more than anything else on different mediums, on for example on Clubhouse, or connecting with colleagues like you. I mean, we've had a chance to connect this year, and I don't know that we would have been able to connect as closely as we have, really, through if it had been a normal year with when with us traveling and everything else. And how we met, through community, through the association, the Global Speakers Federation, is an example of how that all the networking works. And so, yeah, I would say that basically more than anything, I'm looking forward to more connection like that, more um, an exchange of ideas. I'm looking forward to creating even more things online for people so that they're readily available to everyone worldwide. And I'm also looking forward to finally getting back to a little bit of traveling. It doesn't have to be as much as before, but a little bit of traveling would probably be nice. One insight is it's not about us, it's about the audience. Very often you hear speakers, going on about it's not just about our own story as part of the story, but where you can tell the focus is on them and making themselves large. And they forget the audience. So I think the first thing would be it's about the audience, not about us. The second thing, at the GSN for several years in San Diego, I was asked on a panel there, discussion panel about international speaking. I was asked what I think the most important thing is about speaking. And my answer was, and still is, humility. The ability to, I mean, Extine, you also were born in a different country, live in a different culture, just as I. And I think one of the things you learn in that process is, at first, when you're in a new culture, you bring a lot of things from your old culture with you, and you try to impose that on the new culture. I don't know if you did it, but I certainly did. And there's a point where you really need to learn just to stop and listen, and have humility, and you learn so much through that. That's, I think, in everything we do, especially at an international level. And this is the European conference. At the international level, it can be when we allow ourselves to humble ourselves enough to listen, and to be curious about our audience, to be curious about the culture in which we're speaking, to be curious about everything that we're doing. Then a whole new world opens up, and it can be so beautiful and so enriching and so empowering in so many different ways. So yeah, humility. If you don't mind, I'm going to give you two, if that's okay, because they're really, I think, there's so many things. But the first and foremost, most importantly, is to hone your skills in every single aspect. Understand your job as speaker. And what I mean by that is, if we get back into a live situation, in an in-person situation, make sure that you understand how your audience ticks, that you understand different personality structures, that you understand your purpose for being there, that you understand how your voice works, how your body language works, how the stage works, so that you can create magic. And even if it continues to be online, hone your skills online. Understand your technique, and only use the technique that you understand. And I guess as a second tip, and I think we've already talked about that today, it would be network. Really make connections with colleagues, make connections with your clients, find connections with other thought leaders who are not necessarily speakers. There are a lot of amazing people out there with doing a lot of amazing work. And often I find in the speaker world, we stay in our little world, and that's well and good, but it's often you miss out often on new ideas. So connect to any and everyone you can that may or may not really be an asset to your work. Those that are not an asset, okay, they're not an asset, but at least you've connected. So this connection, the idea of connection and the idea of really mastering your skills, I would say those would be my two tips. And I'm going to be talking about, and I'll stick with me on this one, artificial intelligence and the voice. You may think, what does that mean? What we're going to be doing is looking at different types of artificial intelligence used in voice production and analysis to see one of two things. The first is, how can we use artificial intelligence to help you simply with an app on your telephone to become a better speaker? And the second is to see how artificial intelligence for the voice is being used in businesses to increase customer satisfaction, to be able to detect all kinds of emotional and behavioral signals. It's amazing. So if you want to learn more about artificial intelligence and voice, and again, that sounds so boring. No, if you want to learn more about the future of voice production, the future of speaking in using technology to help you become a better speaker or to improve your business results, then come to my session at Innovation in Speaking.